Welcome to the weekend, but it's going to be a weekend you're going to need to stay weather aware, not so much for the weather we're going to have this weekend, but the possibility of not only a tropical storm, but a hurricane, maybe two hurricanes threatening the Louisiana coast as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Kind of a historic moment, at least weather-wise, with the potential of two big systems in the Gulf of Mexico. So let's take a look at the big picture as we look at the water vapor imagery, and I think this is going to be key. This upper level trough that brought in more pleasant humidities and temperatures over the last couple of days. This is beginning to lift out. It made it as far south as right by the Pearl River, Mississippi River, right around here. Now it's moving off to the north, but notice the dry air that it's pile driven into the Gulf of Mexico. Also, we have some pretty good upper level winds here, so that may have influence over Marco, newly developed Marco. More on that system in just a bit, but here's the infrared satellite imagery, and we open it on up. We have two systems we're going to deal with, and Laura may be the one that gives us the better wallop as compared to Marco, but two are going to influence some aspects of our weather and tides along the coast for sure. So Laura, not particularly organized here in the northeastern Caribbean. Meanwhile, we go to the west, and this system looking better organized. Notice the convection has been kind of balling up a little bit, getting more circular, and a hurricane hunter went down here during the course of this evening. On their first pass in, they found pressure at about 1,009 millibars right there and 36-mile-an-hour winds, then 1,005, then 1,003, and a maximum flight level wind right around 54. So this upgraded now to a tropical storm Marco, with 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving to the north-northwest at 13. And here's the forecast track, barely clipping the Yucatan. That's not good news. That means it's going to have plenty of time over very warm water, but as it gets into the northern and central Gulf of Mexico, that upper low that I was talking about may allow for enough shear to keep this from becoming a hurricane. So it's not forecast to become a hurricane, but it's going to be close to a Category 1, and it's going to be generating waves out here that's going to pile up water along the coast. So I've kind of changed what we are going to see for tides along the coast. Landfall somewhere, maybe by Houston, Freeport, Texas, as we get into Tuesday evening, and then weakening. So this is storm number one, and this could change. Notice much of southwest Louisiana in the cone. So we're still in the cone of that uncertainty with that storm. And then we take a look at Laura, which now is going to interact more with the islands. That could keep it weaker than forecast right here. But whatever emerges into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico is going to have a better chance of developing, because there's going to be less shear as Marco moves away. So the winds are going to be lighter. And with Marco moving to the west, if it moves farther to the west, this is going to draw the track farther to the west. In fact, it has moved a little bit to the west. It was by the mouth of the Mississippi River at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now it's closer to Grand Isle as a Category 1 storm. That puts Acadiana not only in the cone of uncertainty, but in the threat zone for some wind and rain as well. Those tropical storm force winds will be edging right along the coast. Notice Louisiana in the double cone once again, and those tropical storm force winds now up to 60% along the coast, and we think these numbers are going to increase between storm number one and storm number two. So here's the European model, and I think this has been doing a pretty good job not strengthening Marco much more than a tropical storm, making landfall farther south and west than what the Hurricane Center is going with right now, and we're going to have to watch Laura. Look at this, coming in pretty much on par with the Hurricane Center forecast. So we could at very least have tropical storm conditions, the threat of heavy rainfall, and maybe something more. We're just going to have to wait and see. As for rainfall, tough to call, but we don't see a whole lot until Laura moves inland, and then we could see these numbers piling up 3 to 6 or higher. Again, too early to call on specifics on rainfall, but we can say the tides are going to come up, and I'm going with 3 to 5 foot tides along the coast now, so I got it in the moderate category. Those tides staying up, Laura or not, we're going to get the Marco tides. They're going to stick around, and then Laura may add more to it. We'll have to wait and see, may subtract from it, but plan on 3 to 5. Too early to call on the rainfall, as we indicated. Best chances of the heavy rains Tuesday and beyond. Wind, well, don't think we're going to see a whole lot of Marco wind, but we may see some more significant winds with Laura down the line, and we'll deal with the tornado threat when we get closer to it, but too hard to call right now. So near term, quiet forecast tomorrow and Sunday, typical summer weather, but get your hurricane supplies, and we're using the word hurricane supplies as we need to be prepared for a hurricane as we go into the middle part of next week. Not saying we're going to get it, but we're going to be very close to seeing some action, and those rain chances up as we go through midweek. That's it for weather for now. We'll be right back right after this.